The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight. Glad you guys could make some time. I'll try to make this as quick and painless as possible. If you're new to this, there's a way you can ask questions on your toolbar. So you could ask them during or hold them until the end. I won't answer them until the end, but you can type them in at any time and then I will see them. So basically, we're just going to cover the new rule changes and then just some captain information, and we will go from there. All right, except now, of course, this isn't working. There we go. So we have basically 6 new major rule changes, not major like last year, but we'll cover the new lateness penalty, the new tiebreaker system. That's tiebreaker as in determining winners of flights and wildcards, not on court. There's a new rule for winning both seasons, staggered match times, total team defaults, and match scheduling accommodation. So, first rule we need to cover, it's probably the one might come up the most often, is the new lateness penalty rule. Basically, it's on the screen. You'll also be able to see it in the rules, which are posted on the website. If a player arrives for a match later than 15 minutes after their scheduled match time and a court for such match is available, they will be defaulted. If no court is available 15 minutes after their scheduled match time, a player will not be defaulted until a court becomes available. If the player arrives prior to a court becoming available, they must be given a complete 10-minute warm-up. So in the past, we went with the friend at court rule, which had penalties for every 5 minutes a player was late. We are now getting rid of that and just going to the 15-minute penalty. You're defaulted after 15 minutes. Now, of course, as captains, as long as both captains agree, you do not have to enforce this rule. Obviously, the goal of our league is to play tennis, and we understand traffic and different things come up. So, we want you to be accommodating when possible, but we also understand certain facilities will have a 6 o'clock match, a 7:30 match, and a 9 o'clock match. We don't want a 6 o'clock match starting at 6:30 because now that is pushing everyone back behind it. So we don't want to go past that 15 minutes. So that's why that rule is now in effect. Okay, next change this year is the new tiebreaker. So in determining the flight, subflight, and wild card standings, we're using the following order. Team winning percentage, individual matches won, least sets lost, least games lost, and head-to-head. So the biggest difference is number 1 is team winning percentage. And as long as in a subflight, if they're playing the same amount of matches, this one will never come up really because you won't have a tie because you'll have the same amount. What it comes down to is really when you're looking for wild card teams from different flights, and one flight played 10 matches and one flight played 8. In the old system, the one team could go 8-0 and the other team would go 9-1, and the 9-1 team would get the spot because they had one more win. The Adult League Committee felt that it was unfair to continue to punish a team who played in a flight with fewer matches that wasn't their choice. So we want to base it on winning percentage like traditional sports. So that'll be the new determining factor, first tiebreaker anyway, for determining those positions. Another one for 2018. I won't go and read all of this. I'll give you the gist. So basically, for example, in combo or mixed, if you are to win both for combo, the spring and fall, or for mixed, the spring and summer, as long as all the players declare for the same team, you will advance right to state championships. There's no more having to pick which team you want and then have to play another match against a second place team. So you will advance directly to states. So hopefully players and captains appreciate that rule. So this is just a little clarification. Some facilities have staggered match times due to court availability. They start one court at 6 p.m. and the rest at 7:30. That 6 p.m. match, that first p.m. match, must be sent out in order. So it has to be a first singles or a first doubles court. In the past, I think some facilities were sending out whichever one they wanted, a second singles or a third doubles. You have to go in, excuse me, in order of courts being called. 702D, that rule has been in effect. The number 2, this part, is the addition to that rule. So just make sure you have staggered start times, that you're putting them out in order. Another addition to the total team default rule. In the past, it was if a 5-court match, for example, we'll use 3 courts since it's spring. If 2 courts were unavailable, then the team would default the entire match, basically losing 0-3, 6-0, 6-0 every match. Now, if you are able to even just get 1 court in a 3-court match, you can play that match and it can count towards your NTRP rating and towards the standings. So at the very least, you could still win 1 court, and that might help you down the road for playoffs and help ratings and whatnot. So you no longer have to forfeit all 3 courts. Again, the goal of USTA League is to play and have fun. So hopefully we see fewer full team defaults as opposed to just maybe a couple courts. This rule will cover match scheduling accommodation. You can kind of read along as I discuss it. So we've seen over the last couple years a lot of scheduling conflicts with facilities who are overbooked, and we just want there to be a direct rule associated with what the procedure is when this happens. So the facility that's overbooked will contact the visiting captain, and the first option is always just to switch the home matches. If that doesn't work, then they need to speak with one another and share 3 dates and times, each of them, that are acceptable. And then if none of these 6 dates and times are acceptable, then it'll come to the local league coordinator, and they will pick the match time and date. So hopefully the captains will always be able to agree, but occasionally we come to a situation where they can't. So this kind of just outlines what you are to do when you need to reschedule the match. Now this is kind of review from if you've been captaining before. Remember, always keep your emails that show you've agreed to the match times as visitors, that you've sent your match times as the home captain. It does come up, team shows up at the wrong time, so it's good to have those emails. And always CC your coordinator. I am the mixed and spring coordinator this spring, so they all come to me. Lucky me. Always make sure you're sending your match time and site info in advance. I think everyone's pretty much doing a good job of that with this spring. So thank you. Always do the safety check the week before the match. If you're the home team, send an email to the visiting captain. Hey, just a reminder, we're playing this Friday, 7 p.m. We have water, towels on the court, such and such. Just friendly reminder. And always observe the tenets of good sportsmanship if you have to default. Try to let them know as early as possible. We understand things come up at the last minute, but again, the earlier you can tell them, the better. On the day of the match, we always say try to get there 15 minutes early. Try to get your lineups at 10 minutes before match time. We're just, again, trying to speed up pace of play. We want those first matches out on the court as soon as we can get them, especially if there's matches after them, so they're not waiting. Please stick to the 10-minute warm-up. It's getting a little better, but it's still more like a 15-minute warm-up. It's supposed to be 10, not 15. Always display good sportsmanship. And don't forget, home or visiting captain can report the scores on Tennis Link and make sure they're put in within 48 hours. If you have a grievance issue that comes up, first step, you think something has happened, violated the rules, unsportsmanlike behavior, whatever it is, your first step is to contact the local league coordinator and myself, the adult tennis coordinator. Of course, in your case, this spring, I'm the same one, so it's just one person. And then let me know that you're considering filing a grievance. I will explain the procedure to you, and then if you choose to file the grievance, once it's filed, the other captain will receive it. They receive the whole copy, so they'll read what you wrote, and they get a chance to respond, at which point it goes to the grievance committee, and they will render their decision. If either party is unhappy with the decision, they have some time to appeal it, and then the appeals are heard by the appeals committee. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have any of those issues this spring, but if they do come up, that's the procedure you are to follow. Get to know your league coordinator. That's me. Get to know me. I'm always around. Feel free to shoot me an email, any question, no questions, a dumb one. I'm here to help. Again, make sure I'm included in all your correspondence with one another, and never hesitate to contact me. I'm always here. And same as last year, finally, thank you to all the captains. It is a great privilege to work with you every year. You guys make the job fun and enjoyable and easy. And we just want to thank you because, as you know, without you guys, the league would not get off the ground. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And that covers all the new changes this year. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, I see some questions, so I will start getting to them. Is there any discussion at USTA of making combo or fusion matches contribute to NTRP ratings? I can tell you that definitely not for fusion, because that's just a local league, so that's not being considered. Combo, I have not heard them discuss it. I believe it's because it's not a national league. We play it at the Midwest, but it is not played everywhere else. So that's why the Midwest does not count it towards the ratings, and I wouldn't see them changing that unless combo becomes more widespread across the country. So another question, please clarify if in a 3-court match we can only field 1 court. I understand that the match will count for NTRP ratings, but if we win that match, would that court be counted as a court win for us, or would it still be an 0-3 total team default? No, it would count as a win, so it would be 1-2 as opposed to 0-3. So again, besides the simple fact of just wanting to play tennis, which is the goal, playing that court could still help you in the long run with the tiebreakers down the road. So hopefully that's what players decide to do. Are there any other questions? How can we get a copy of these PowerPoint slides? Well, the video will be posted to the website, a replay of the webinar, but I'm happy to email a copy of the presentation. Just shoot me an email if you would like to receive it. I don't want to send it to everyone in case they don't want it. But if you'd like a copy of this, I'm happy to send it to you. Anything else? Is there a how-to guide for entering scores into TennisLink? I don't know if there is, actually, but I can tell you if you're a new captain, you should be a little familiar now with your team homepage. You've probably been on it. And if you just hover over the match date, you'll be able to see a couple options come up, and one of them is enter scores. And you click on that and you just enter them that way. And then I was just going to say, someone just asked, is the USTA app good for entering scores? That's also the other way to do it. Just go right on the app if you have it and select the match and enter it that way. Takes a little more time, and I found that a little more mistakes are made with the app, but I use the app to enter scores because it's a good way to do it right after the match, and you're done, you don't forget, and you put them in. And of course, if you ever make a mistake entering scores, just email me and you say, give me the match number, and CC the other captain. We'll make sure that the other captain agrees, and then we can just change it. Someone said bad weather. Well, in the spring, I think everyone should be playing inside, but maybe you're talking about driving weather conditions, in which case, again, brings me back to the default. If it's a player or if you as the captain, communicate. If you're on the road and you see it's bad weather, and you think you're going to be late, call. If it's very bad and no one should be on the road, if it looks like the weather's calling for something crazy, CC myself and the captain, and we can discuss moving the match. We don't want anyone driving in unsafe conditions. We have plenty of time where we can make a match up. So that's a good question. Is there a deadline to have matches scheduled? They're supposed to have them in a week before the first match. So some of the leagues, that is Friday, so they should have it. We usually say the weekend, so Sunday, so tonight they should have it. I send out the reminder tomorrow morning, so they will get that if they have not done so. My suggestion is contact them directly as well. If they're not answering you, that may not help. But if it's the 23rd is the first match, they still have a little bit of time. Most of the time, I will say that they're waiting on their facility to give it to them. The captains are usually pretty good about sending them. Does it matter which captain enters the score? Nope. Home or away captain can enter. That's kind of like an old, I don't know, thing that people think is true. It's not. Home or away, doesn't matter, because either one can confirm it. So usually when I captain, I just say, hey, do you want me to do it, or are you going to do it? And usually it's the person who has the app, makes it easy. They do it right there, and you're done. You don't have to think about it. All right. Any others? Last call. All right. And of course, if you think of any down the road, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Thank you guys for coming out, and looking forward to a great season. Have a good one.